In Buffalo, New York, this truck driver overdosed behind the wheel, accelerating and smashing into a car and turning on its side. It's called drug driving, part of an opioid epidemic that President Trump vowed to fight.
It's a national emergency.
Across the country, over 7,000 people have died from drug-related car crashes in 2015 alone. In Ohio, ground zero for the opioid epidemic, there's been over 8,000 drug-related crashes in the past 2 years, including KORIANN Evans, a recovering heroin addict living in Bellevue, Ohio.
I was never in my mind thinking, like I should have been, I possibly could die today, or I'd probably overdose with my kids in the car.
Evans got hooked on heroin over a decade ago. She tried to quit, but couldn't, until one day in August 2015, when her dealer gave her fentanyl, an opioid dozens of times more powerful than heroin. Desperate for pain relief, she parked her car and took the drugs almost immediately. Her 2 children were in the back seat.
I put it in drive and I started down the road. And I remember struggling to breathe. I remember trying to talk to my daughter. She was asking me if I was okay because she was sitting in the passenger back seat. And I said, "Mommy can't breathe, Mommy can't breathe."
Evans put her foot on the brakes before she passed out, saving her and her children from a serious crash. When she woke, she was in a hospital. Doctors told her she had less than a minute to live.
I was just like, okay, all right, I'm done. Like, I almost killed my kids. I didn't even have it in park. I could have flipped that car and killed them, or I could have killed other people.
For Evans, that was the final straw. She hasn't taken drugs since. She lost custody of her kids, but still gets to see them. But many aren't so lucky. They crash on highways and city streets, into stop signs and telephone poles. John THARP, sheriff of nearby Lucas County, says that his officers have witnessed over 100 drug-related accidents last year.
The numbers have just skyrocketed.
With so many overdosing drivers, officials are called out routinely on dramatic rescues, such as this one last year, when highway patrol officers saved a father and son overdosing on heroin by the side of a road. These accidents are so common that some responders immediately spray an opioid antidote at any unresponsive driver they find. Opioids now are so strong that all too often, just one dose isn't enough.
We'll have to use as many as 4, 5, or 6 Narcans in order to bring them back to life, but we must do it.
Though doctors and officers have sounded the alarm, the death toll is rising with no end in sight. Dae Kang, Associated Press, Cleveland.